Not all strong female characters are heroes. In fact, some of them are villains, and the ones in the Bible can teach us a lot about ourselves. That's what we're talking about this week.
Kindred UMC live show features adults discussing adult topics, occasionally with adult language. It may not be suitable for young viewers. Please use discretion before watching.
Hello all, welcome once again to the Kindred UMC pre-recorded live show, coming to you not live but pre-recorded from my front room, aka Kindred Studio A. My name is Chris Hayden. I am the pastor of Kindred UMC.
I'm Ann and I'm the treasurer for Kindred UMC.
I'm Adam, and they found me on the street, and I'm hungry.
You've come to the right place. I've prepared pastas. It's perfect. You may have noticed that we're using handhelds, and that's because our audio has been unreliable, and this is our best attempt to correct that. So I hope that you, the listener, appreciates the efforts to which we go in order to create an enjoyable auditorial experience for you.
Get in the comments.
Get in the comments. Let us know what you think. We are continuing our series on Barbies in the Bible. We're focusing on female... I have been saying female heroines, heroes. However, this week, we're going to be focusing on someone who's a bit of a villain.
Ooh.
She's a bit of an Ursula, if I dare say so. This is a Jezebel-focused episode. So first of all, I didn't check with you guys before we started recording. Thanks, Jonah. I appreciate that feedback. Have you in the church at all? Have you heard when you hear Jezebel? Does that spark anything for you? What do you know about that? And nothing is a perfectly viable answer.
Nothing from the Bible. I feel like I've heard the name from something else, but definitely not from church.
My brain's just going to Jasmine from Aladdin. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, not that. In fact, kind of the opposite.
I feel like
actually.
I should know who it is.
So, all right.
Don't.
Here's why I wanted to talk about Jezebel, because she's not like a hero. She's not somebody that the writer wants you to like emulate, you know? She's clearly the villain. However, so Jezebel is referenced in the book of Kings, the first Kings. Although we're the ones who put first on that. It was just one big scroll called Kings. Anyway, and we divided it up because we had to make it bite-sized. So she's in the book of Kings, and she is referenced in John's Revelation, the very last book of the New Testament. And because of that, so Jezebel, and we're going to read her story, but she was, just kind of a biblical villain. Kind of like Delilah, Samson and Delilah, just like another, person of ill repute, But then because it's referenced in Revelations, and conservative, literal, biblical people just lose their ever-loving mind around that book for some reason. So it turned into this, like, almost like this magical demon, like spirit of Jezebel, is a phrase that a lot of conservative Christians use. And it's to talk about this temptress kind of vibe. And it's almost always used in a very like anti-feminist way, in a very chauvinistic, patriarchal way to talk about why you shouldn't be listening to that woman. Now, granted, I've been watching people's sermons on this, and thankfully there are some pastors out there who they still kind of like go into that literalist Jezebel, spirit of Jezebel kind of magic woo-woo stuff. But they're at the very least being like, by the way, this is not gendered language. Anybody can be a total like parasite when it comes to, if you're in a position of leadership, you got to watch out for these types of people. And they very explicitly say not gendered. But in my experience, most of the time it's very, the implication is you got to watch out for that seductress, those women out there who will try and, all those Monica Lewinskys out there who will try and tempt the leader, like as if Bill Clinton doesn't have anything to actually like accept responsibility for in that power dynamic sexual affair relationship, you know? So we're going to be looking at Ahab and Jezebel. Are you ready? Good, I'm glad. This is from the book of 1 Kings, chapter 21, verses 1 through... I can't remember when I said I was going to stop. I think 16. All right. And actually, I did not practice reading with a handheld microphone. The handheld microphones are new, if you didn't catch that at the beginning. Here we go. I'm going to do my best. This is a skill that every pastor should have. They don't teach this in seminary, by the way, which they should.
They don't?
No, they do not.
They really should teach like tech literacy.
They teach you how to preach, and they teach you how to exegete, but they do not teach you how to manage finances or work with a microphone, like actual tangible skills.
Because the microphone belongs on the stand.
No, I mean, not always. Look, as an AVL guy.
That's
all right.
It's a good. Yeah, actually, you're.
That's what they think.
Yeah, your point is well taken. A microphone stand, which I have plenty of, would solve this problem. But alas, here we are. So here we go. Verses, chapter 21, verses 1 through 16, they sound like this. Later, the following events took place. That's a classic, like, transitional phrase in the Bible. Like, that means, okay, we're changing the topic now. Later, these events took place. You know, we're changing the topic now. Also, it's important to know Ahab is the king of Israel at this time. His wife is Jezebel. She is not an Israelite. In fact, she is a worshiper of Baal, B-A''A'-L. Worship of Baal often entails sexual assault, child sacrifice, often is associated with worship of Molech, which is the same thing. Like, it's nasty, bad stuff. God, the reason that the Israelites are tasked with invading Canaan and invading the promised land and eradicating those people is because they worshiped in this way. It's not that like foreigners are bad. It's that people who sacrifice children and YouTube is so persnickety, so I don't want to say the R word, the sexual assault R word, but they do that, you know? And so these are bad guys, and Jezebel's one of them. And in fact, she's like very into it. She's like, this is our whole deal. This is what our whole nation should be doing. And Ahab, who was supposed to be a king of Israel, is like, yeah, man, forget Yahweh. Screw that. Let's do this. This sounds much better. And so, again, it's not exactly like he was putting up a fight. For all the pastors out there who are criticizing Jezebel, like Ahab was fully into it. So, all right, here we go. Verses 1 through 16, chapter 21. Here we go. Later, the following events took place. Naboth, the Jezreelite, had a vineyard in Jezreel. So, random guy. This is the first time he's being introduced. Naboth. He owns a vineyard in Jezreel, which is a different place from Israel. Beside the palace of King Ahab of Samaria. And Ahab said to Naboth, "Give me your vineyard so that I may have it for a vegetable garden. Because it is near my house, I will give you a better vineyard for it. Or, if it seems good to you, I'll give you its value in money." So, you know, like, hey, let me buy that from you. Let's trade, or I'll pay you for it. But Naboth said to Ahab, "The Lord forbid I should give you my ancestral inheritance." Ahab went home resentful and sullen because of what Naboth the Jezreelite had said to him, for he had said, "I will not give you my ancestral inheritance." He lay down on his bed, turned away his face, and would not eat. So he wants the vineyard. He says, "I'm going to make a vegetable garden out of it." And Naboth says to him, "I can't. That's my ancestral home. I'm not going to give you my vineyard. I'm not going to sell it to you." And then Ahab goes and pouts, turns away, and turns his face to the side, sullen. Anyway, so verse 5, his wife Jezebel came to him and said, "Why are you so depressed that you will not eat?" He said to her, "Because I spoke with Naboth the Jezreelite, and said to him, Give me your vineyard for money, or else, if you prefer, I will give you another vineyard for it. But he answered, I will not give you my vineyard. So long way of saying exactly what we already just heard. His wife Jezebel said to him, do you not govern Israel? Get up, eat some food, and be cheerful. I will give you the vineyard of Naboth the Jezreelite. Early predictions, what's going to happen?
She's going to do devious things.
I would
get
trust
this
those
vineyard
instincts. I would trust
for
those
her man.
instincts. Yeah. So she wrote letters in Ahab's name and sealed them with his seal. She sent the letters to the elders and the nobles who lived with Naboth in his city. She wrote in the letters, proclaim a fast and seat Naboth at the head of the assembly. Seat 2 scoundrels opposite him. So proclaim a fast. You would break fast at the end of the day. So that's not right. Is it? Yeah. Okay. All right. Sorry. I got immediately worried. Did it say feast? No, it says fast. Proclaim a fast. They would break fast at the end of the day. So when the sun goes down, you were allowed to have a big feast to celebrate the fast that you were doing. So when they say proclaim a fast, that makes you think don't eat. But what they're really doing is preparing a feast so that at the end of the day, they could eat. And
so why is breakfast at the beginning of the day?
Because at some point culturally, you would fast overnight and you would break fast in the morning.
But it used to be in the evening.
Yeah. So early Israelite culture and Islamic culture also, you fast until sundown, and then you could have a big feast at the end. Like Ramadan is it's a time of fasting, but you get a big feast at the end of every day. So, So
the more you know.
Yeah, that's what this it really is. Even though it says fast, they're getting ready for a feast, for a banquet, a big dinner where lots of people will be there. Okay. So proclaim a fast, seat Naboth at the head of the assembly, seat 2 scoundrels opposite him, and have them bring a charge against him, saying, you have cursed God and the king. Then take him out and stone him to death. So these are all Jezebel's orders to the nobles and the royals. Okay.
In Ahab's name, though.
Yes, in his name. Exactly. So she's using his name and his seat of power to arrange all of this for him so he can get the vineyard. Okay. The men of his city, the elders and the nobles who lived in his city, did as Jezebel had sent word to them, just as it was written in the letters and that she had sent to them. They proclaimed a fast and seated Naboth at the head of the assembly. So everything that she said is turning out exactly the way she wanted. The 2 scoundrels came in and sat opposite him, and the scoundrels brought a charge against Naboth in the presence of the people, saying, Naboth cursed God and the king. So, can you guess what happens?
Does he get stoned to death?
You're dang right. You got dang right. Naboth cursed God and king, so they took him outside the city and stoned him to death. Then they sent to Jezebel, saying, Naboth has been stoned, he is dead. As soon as Jezebel heard that Naboth had been stoned and was dead, Jezebel said to Ahab, go, take possession. The Israelite or the Hebrew word actually has more to do with conquest. Like go conquer the land now. He's dead, conquer, take possession, conquer. Go conquer take possession of the vineyard of Naboth the Jezreelite, which he refused to give you for money, for Naboth is not alive but dead. As soon as Ahab heard that Naboth was dead, Ahab set out to go down to the vineyard of Naboth the Jezreelite to take possession, to conquer it. And then I won't read the rest, but what happens after this is a prophet Elijah, who has been the enemy of Jezebel because Jezebel worships Baal and Elijah is a prophet of Yahweh. And so she's been kind of chasing after this guy, trying to kill him. And he's been hiding and running from her. And the word of the Lord comes to him and tells him, you need to go and tell them what's up and tell them I'm going to kill them because of what they did. And Elijah does, and he makes this wild prophecy about the dogs are going to lick up your blood in the streets. It's like very graphic. It's very rated PG-13 at least. And then it comes to pass. And eventually Jezebel, hey, just because I said dogs, all right? And then,
one, to be fair.
yeah, and then Jezebel gets thrown out of a window to her death. So first of all, can you sum up the story? Can we try and piece the story back together?
I'm not going to know the names.
Okay, that's fine. I'll help you with it.
Okay. Jezebel's husband,
Ahab, he's the
that
king.
guy,
The king.
wants the vineyard.
Yeah.
The vineyard owner says, this is my ancestors' land. You can't have it.
Naboth.
That one.
Yep.
The king goes back and pouts. Jezebel asks him why. He
Yeah.
tells her.
Yep.
And she says, get up. Like, you're the king.
Like,
Get up.
quit being such a baby.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like, get over yourself.
I would have used a different word, but I'm not allowed to.
Yeah, it's okay. And then so he decides, she says, you will get the land. I don't remember. She said she would deliver it though, right?
Yeah, she's like,
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
get up, eat, I'll give it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then she writes a letter to the like nobles, I think
Yeah,
you said,
the nobles and the royals and the
of the vineyard though, right?
No, of the city.
yeah
Of the city.
town.
Yeah,
The whole
okay,
city.
okay. Because it was his
So by the
city.
way, there is a like a kind of a language translation problem. It's
Okay.
unclear what city they're talking about because you would think they're near Jezreel because that he's a Jezreelite and he owns inheritance land there.
Right.
But it's also he talks about it's his house and he's the king of Israel and Samaria. So it's like there is that is kind of a
Okay,
scholars debate that fact, you know. Dude. Shut
Rude.
up. I'm gonna come over there and yell at you. We're gonna have to cut this out. I'm gonna pop you in front of people. Hey,
He's trying to challenge you.
stop it. That's a bad dog. We have to edit that out because nobody likes a bummer.
Yeah, that's true.
I feel bad.
But he's the
I
only
know,
one that
right?
he's the only way. That's the only way to talk to him now.
Well, he's old.
All right. So yes. So where the city that they're in is a little, it's almost certainly in Jezreel, which is a foreign country. So he's because the inheritance part, like why would he have ancestral land outside of his own people? So it's probably in Jezreel.
Got it.
I thought a province that has been taken over by Jezebel somewhere.
Well, because Israel's kind of the major superpower. So if it was a province that was in Israelite land,
Then it probably wouldn't have been a province for
yeah, it
long,
wouldn't have been a province. Yeah, right, exactly. So
it's-
like,
there could be like contested land somewhere.
there's
or
also
something
like
that,
there's some weird stuff with Jezreel is Baal worshiping, Moloch worshiping. So they're probably allies because of Jezebel and Ahab are like into that stuff. So
Right.
There's
again,
contest.
the geopolitics are unclear. We do not have straight answers about that. But the general story you get,
Yeah, the noblemen of blank.
wherever they are. Yeah.
She tells them to proclaim a fast, which really means to have the big feast at the end of the
Yeah.
day and have two scoundrels sit across from the vineyard guy.
On opposite sides.
Or on opposite. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So
And
like put him at
then-
the head
and
and
then
then
have them
put
on
two
either side.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
I got you. I pictured it the wrong
Yeah.
way then.
Which
Um,
these are not important details, but you know.
That's what I remember.
Yeah. But you do get extra
That's
credit
right.
for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then to say that he went against God and take him outside and stone him, and then they do, and then
And now Ahab gets his property.
Yay!
Yeah.
We've made the pouting child happy.
Yeah.
Yes.
But then the prophet of God comes and says, "You've been a very, very naughty boy, and now
You will suffer.
the dogs
Yeah.
of the world will lick up your blood in the streets."
Yeah.
Fun, family fun.
And
Yeah.
Jezebel gets thrown out of a window. So at some
And
point.
yeah, and then
Yeah.
eventually Jezebel gets thrown out of the window.
By like one person or a whole group of like a mob or like what?
I can't remember. I think it's her servant.
Oh, that's
He gets ordered to do it, and then he does.
Ah.
And there's a specific word for it too. There's a word that means death by throwing you out of a window. Anyway, that's all beside the point. So here's the thing I wanted to talk about. Jezebel is certainly not a hero. Like, she is something to be avoided. But also she gets the bum rap, and Ahab so often gets a pass. And I want to call that out as like misogynistic and like it's horrible. So like, let's talk about what kind of person Ahab is, because it's clear to me that the author certainly doesn't want us to be Jezebels, but also doesn't want us to be Ahabs. So what are the things about Ahab that we can like try to make parallels for our modern day? So the first thing is, to me, Ahab is in power. So how does Ahab use his power in this story? You horrible
point,
dog.
Yeah.
Ahab, you were right, Jonah. Ahab, being the king, didn't actually use really his power. Like, he kind of tried to force it, and then Jezebel was like, "Hey, you're gonna let me use this for you in your name." Because we don't know if he was in on it per se, if he knew what she was doing.
The
the
implication, the implication is
yeah.
pretty clear that he was aware of what was going to happen.
Yeah,
you know.
So like,
And
he's
part of
letting her do this.
part of that's the setup. If you read the chapters before this and just the institution of their marriage and all that, like, you understand.
it's a power play setup.
They're in this together.
Yeah.
You know, they know what's up.
beyond this.
Yeah.
Which is that's a way to use your power as a king.
Well,
Somebody who's up there.
I like the point that you like. The thing you pointed out is Ahab doesn't use his power.
He didn't lift a finger.
He does not accept the it's not to be all cliche about it, but it's the Spider-Man thing. With great power comes great responsibility. He is unwilling to use his power, unwilling to take responsibility for his choices. He goes along with, and this is a pattern that's established before the text we read too. He goes along with her no matter what, basically. It's kind of like whatever she says.
Gotcha.
And a lot of pastors, the reason I bring that up is because a lot of pastors have used this as an example of like, so men don't listen to your wives kind of stuff. And I want to call that out for the garbage it is. That's not even remotely the closest point of this story. Like, that's not even near what this is saying. The point of this has more to do with devotion to what is selfish and self-serving, and devotion to what is serving the people. Because what we really have here is a king who has a responsibility to use his power and wealth and authority to serve other people. And rather than doing that, he goes along with the child sacrificing self-absorbed and like completely amoral, like, he's got what you want, why don't you just kill him and take it kind of person, and this is by no means a lot of people have also compared this to like the Adam and Eve thing, the woman you gave me, she's the one who tempted me. That Jezebel spirit is the one. Nope, you do not get a pass, dude. Like, you are responsible for your choices.
You know what's interesting though? So I just had this happen in real life, and twice recently, where like people are talking and hanging out, and they were meeting new people and going to their house and whatnot, and they're probably on the older side of things, right? But still, like, it was kind of like,
what you mean, like 33, 34 or something like that?
Right. Very funny. But it was one of those things where it was like the woman kind of ran the show a little bit, and they were like, I don't understand how you could live like that. And it's like, I mean, okay, I just don't know. I think every relationship and groups of people, you have kind of your own dynamic. And like, dogs will do it. There are certain things that like in this room I'm in charge, but over there you're in charge. Like you come with a give and take.
Yeah.
There's not, and I
Yes.
think that this story does lead into a little bit of that. Like, no, you're not in charge and you're not in charge. If you guys had kind of played well together, this could have all gone a different way. But because you just kind of yielded and rolled over and played dead and let her drive the boat, look what happened.
Well, I think there's also, yes, and the element of there's a reason that he has been given power and authority. And it's not just that he's like, oh, I guess I'll do whatever you say. It's that he is essentially abdicating that authority in order to get what he wants. He's not using what he's been given to help other people. He's using what he's been given to get what he wants. And when he can't get what he wants, he mopes about it and like complains about it, rather than using that power and authority to actually help out the people underneath him.
And yeah, and I get that track. I think I was just pointing out, like, I think it's easy for us to see a story like this or hear the people talking about, oh, don't listen to the woman, and take it so much to heart in their own lives that they're like, oh, well, then I have to be in charge. And it's like, all right, you go do that.
Yeah. Right, yeah.
Good luck.
Yes.
Yeah. Let me know how that
my
goes.
parents specifically, my dad handles the stove and my mom handles the inside oven and other top stuff because he calls it his man stove. It's adorable. Yeah. And he loves it and he does a great job. Mom tries it and it doesn't work. And then dad tries to cook in the stove. It doesn't work. I kind of learn on both because it's nice.
But that again is like our real life, like day-to-day situation. You know, what about these people in power that, you know,
have the power to order the death of God knows how many people,
listening to
destroy your kingdom? It's like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
So yes, absolutely. So one of the things I think that we can take away in our current setting is like, hey, think about who you're voting for.
Yeah.
Because let's be clear, people in Congress, people in the White House have decision-making power that absolutely affects people's lives in very severe ways. So, and you're a part of that. And like, let's not abdicate our own authority. Also, I would go even further to say, like, let's not neglect our own personal authority. I think there is a tendency currently to feel, and I get it. It's in response to a lot of things that have happened, kind of current event stuff. You know, we have less trust in our media, less trust in our elections, less trust in our educational system. Like we have all these things, right? Less trust in our policing systems, like less trust in our ability to affect racism, for example. You know, like we have less trust than I think we used to have even like 4 years ago pre-COVID. You know, certainly I have less trust in our global healthcare and our like World Health Organization and like all the systems that we believed would take care of pandemics. And now we're finding out like, oh, we're not as secure as we thought we were. You know, we're still very vulnerable. So there's a lot of less trust. You still have a significant amount of authority. If you are watching this, then you are probably middle class, Western, either Canada, or in the U.S. You probably have more resource and freedom and authority than most people in the world. So while I completely empathize and understand the
feeling small.
Yeah, the outlook and the perspective of like, I feel like I don't have any power. Let's not be Ahabs. Let's not be Ahabs who go, I can't get what I wanted, so I'm just going to pout. Let's instead take a very serious look at the authority and the power that we do have and how we can use that to help the people around us. And even if it's simple, stupid things like, like we've got somebody in our congregation who's pregnant. And it's like, can I make you pasta? Like, I have the ability to cook you some food. Can I do that for you? And of course, if they say no, then more power to you. That's the best case scenario, because then you get credit for offering, but you don't have to do it. But like all kinds of things like that. Can I offer a listening ear? Can I offer a friendly voice? Can I just sit here and watch YouTube with you while you grieve? We have so much more authority and power and presence than we allow ourselves to think. And I think it's because with that power comes the responsibility to use it well for the sake of other people. And that's what I think this text is ultimately about. It's kind of a counter story of what goes wrong when we don't do that.
That's very interpersonal as well as all the points you made. But there's also think a little bit bigger. Do a food drive. If you are watching, like you said, you have the resources. It's remarkably easy to get a group of people to donate some food.
Maybe
or just if you have knitting friends, you can knit scarves and things to donate, or like do a dog wash drive or a car wash. It's so easy.
Maybe sign up for a breast cancer walk.
That they're doing.
That's what we're doing.
They just told me. I walked in the door.
Yeah. A friend of the congregation and one of our, I would say one of our congregants. She was out of state, but she died at a very young age as a result of breast cancer. And so, like, we're signing up to do a breast cancer walk and raise money and try and make just the smallest impact that we can in that horrible thing that hurts people's lives. There's plenty of opportunity to do these types of things. And I'm not saying you have to do what we're doing, although if you can't think of anything, then you should definitely, in fact, we're going to put a link down below that will at least allow you to email us and get in touch with us. And what's the date? October
7th.
7th.
Get in the comments.
Get in the comments. October 7th, we're going to be walking, and the charge was $30.
23.
Okay. 23. You get a T-shirt, and we're just going to try and raise awareness and raise money to help breast cancer. And if that's not your bag, then fair enough. But you don't get to say that's not my bag and then not follow up with what is your bag. Like if you are a follower of Jesus, then the calling is clear. We are called to do things that make a difference for our neighbors, period. If your faith does not result in using whatever you've been given to make a difference for other people, to benefit other people's lives, to make the world a better place, to, as Jesus would say, bring the kingdom of heaven into reality. It is at hand, and our job is to cooperate with that. If your faith does not result in that type of behavior, then I would really seriously challenge whether or not that is a true faith, whether or not you are really following this Messiah who came to give his life to save people. If your faith doesn't result in you trying to affect people's lives in a better way, then that's, I would argue, not a real faith of Jesus. So take thou authority, make a difference, find a way, even if it's just donating money, even if it's volunteering for an hour or so at a place where you know you can help, or if it's coming out on October 7th to share in some breast cancer awareness and raising some money. Find a way to use your authority to help other people. So, may the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. I hope this audio was better off